Today we'll be talking about the Redmi Watch 5 Active, a watch that can be summed up in one word: compromises. Well, maybe not just that, right? After all, it is being sold for just 30 bucks. At 30 bucks, we're getting plenty. We are getting really good sensors at the back here. So we're getting all-day heart rate monitoring, stress monitoring, SpO2, aka blood oxygen saturation monitoring. We can monitor our sleep here, so we can get a breakdown into REM, deep sleep, light sleep. We can get sleep charts, recommendations. We even get Alexa on here. So that means we've got Alexa right on board of our wrist, and we can ask questions: what's the weather? We can record shopping lists, set up alarms. Everything is nice and simple. We even get Bluetooth calls here. That's it. So we've got this massive speaker, we've got a microphone, and the clarity is really good. But these are just the good points. And considering that I am an honest reviewer and I buy my old watches, I hardly do any sponsorships. That means I'll be telling you the truth about this watch without the fluff of sponsorships, right? So I'll tell you what I really think about this watch, its pros and its cons, and there are plenty on both sides. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive in and talk about the Redmi Watch 5 Active. Firstly, let's touch on the design of the Redmi Watch 5 Active, because this is where some key compromises start to show. First, let's go over the dimensions. The watch measures 49.1 by 40 by 11.4 millimeters, making it quite tall on the wrist, so it's over 1 centimeter thick, meaning it does stand out quite a bit. And if you prefer a more streamlined or slim smartwatch, this may not be the most subtle option. In terms of weight, the watch itself, without the strap, comes in at 30.6 grams. We've got a very basic TPU rubber strap on here, so add another 10 grams for that, and you're left with about 40 grams. Now, Redmi claims that the case has metal spray coating paint, but let's be real, that doesn't change the fact that this case is fully plastic. Yeah, okay, on this side it sort of looks like, well, it doesn't look metal, right? You can tell me all day long that this is metal spray paint. I don't know, it still looks cheap. I'm sorry, but it does. It's just no. This is a plastic case. On the underside, it's black. On the outside, it's matte, steely silver. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. It looks cheap. But then we do have a button, a single button on the right hand side of the watch, which acts as the main shortcut to the app list. Above the button we have the speaker, and below it the microphone, which is essential for Bluetooth calling and Alexa integration. Another big question I've got to this watch are these lugs. So they're very short, they don't stick out, that's fantastic, but they're plastic. So if we're talking about long-term durability, they can just snap off. You pull on the watch a little too hard and they will snap off. That's the fact of it, because they are plastic. Now, if we talk about the strap, yeah, two-piece TPU rubber strap. It's rather soft, flexible. Yeah, it's not bad. So you've got this clip and tuck feature. So it's really easy to handle, I suppose. You know, I think the watch type buckle would be a bit more convenient, but this looks prettier, right? So why not? So I do get the thinking of what Redmi designers thought here. Another big plus with the straps is that they are quick release, meaning that it takes a second to change your straps. And this could be a good thing if you want to change to something more upscalish. Maybe a steel mesh bracelet, maybe a leather bracelet, maybe a canvas bracelet, if you do want to get something more natural against your wrist. So quick release is definitely good. Now let's talk about the display on this tracker, because the display is another area where compromises upon compromises upon compromises had to be taken to drive the price down. So we get a 2-inch LCD display, which is more rectangular than square, with a resolution of 320 by 385 pixels, giving us a pixel density of 250 pixels per inch. And honestly, that's pretty much subpar, considering that this watch was released in September 24 and is now selling throughout 2025. Why? Because at this price point, most budget trackers like the Huawei Band 8, so that's last gen, Huawei Band 9, current gen, Xiaomi Mi Band 8 and 9, Mi Band 8 Pro, for example. These are all trackers that are like 1 to 2 years old, and they all feature AMOLED displays where you get the really popping colors. You get the rich, dark blacks, lots of contrast, lots of fluidity. But here we get an LCD display. And that is really subpar, considering we are in 2024. Yeah, the price is good, but hey, the Huawei Band 9 and the Mi Band 9 are not that much more expensive. Yeah, they're a bit smaller, but hey, the experience, the look is just better. But hey, it's just another compromise, right? Don't switch off this video, because in terms of feature set, this watch has a lot to offer. But let's finish up with the display first. Another big omission with this watch is that there is no ambient light sensor, meaning no auto brightness. You have to manually adjust brightness using a slider, which isn't ideal if you're switching between indoor and outdoor environments frequently. That being said, one advantage of an LCD panel is battery efficiency. Pair that with the 470 mAh battery we've got right here, and we've got typical usage of 12 days, but you can actually stretch it up to 18. In terms of performance, there's no noticeable lag when scrolling through menus. The UI is responsive, but the graphical quality of things like heart rate, SpO2, and stress tracking screens is just okay at best. They are functional, but they don't have that fluid, smooth animation or high contrast look that AMOLED displays provide. So when it comes to display, it's clear that this is another area where Redmi has cut corners. It works, but it's not exciting or premium. And considering the competition, it feels like a missed opportunity. Now let's move on to the features and functions, because that's the only area where this tracker shines. But on the other hand, maybe that's the area that really matters. Let's talk about it. Let's start with health tracking, because despite its budget-friendly price, this watch comes loaded with all the essential health monitoring features. You get all-day heart rate monitoring and keeping track of your resting and active heart rates. It gets stress monitoring, so you can check whether your stress levels are creeping up. SpO2 monitoring for blood oxygen saturation, which is especially useful for athletes or people keeping an eye on their respiratory health. We get breathing exercises, which are a great addition for mindfulness and relaxation. And of course, standard activity tracking, including steps taken, standing time, and calories burned. So in terms of basic fitness tracking, it does everything that most budget fitness trackers do. But now let's talk about the notifications and smart features, because this is where things get slightly more exciting. You can fully customize notifications. So whether it's messages, WhatsApp alerts, social media updates, or emails, you control what comes through to your wrist. A standout feature, quick replies for messages. Since this watch has both a microphone and speaker, as long as your phone is connected via Bluetooth, your watch can answer calls right from your wrist. And honestly, for a $30 tracker, that is a fantastic feature. But here's where things get slightly frustrating. Alexa being built in is something really exciting, but you get hit with a compromise straight away. Despite having a speaker on the watch, Alexa doesn't answer in voice. It only types responses on the screen. That means, while it's fine for setting alarms, making notes, or checking your to-do list, it's pretty useless if you're driving and need a voice response for something like the weather or directions. Let's talk about sport and activity tracking, because again, this is a fitness tracker after all. So a fitness tracker slash smartwatch, and it does offer a lot of fitness features. So we get 140 sport modes covering everything from running, cycling, and swimming to more niche activities. It's a 580 water resistant watch, meaning that you can swim with it, you can have showers with it. However, there is no inbuilt GPS, meaning if you're tracking distance or speed, you'll need to stay connected to your phone's GPS. There is auto tracking for standard activities like running, walking, elliptical training, and rowing, which is pretty standard for fitness trackers in any price range. Sleep tracking is also included, with breakdowns of your deep light and REM sleep. This watch actually notes your naps as well. So overall, it does what most budget fitness trackers do. Nothing revolutionary, but it covers all the basics. So everything about this tracker is great features with compromises. But then again, you are just paying $30. So I've got the link to the listing on AliExpress. That's where I buy all my trackers, in the description below the video. Do check it out if you're interested in picking up the watch at a sharp price. But again, it's tough to recommend this watch because you could be getting so much more value elsewhere. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.